Absolutely.
That's the saying.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. For those who aren't aware, my name is Zach Lokeson. I am the guy who mass texts you. I apologize if it comes through more than once, but it's all in love, and we are only trying to get you some information. With me is Steve Serace. Steve Serace has been integral in our training department. He comes from the Serace Smith Agency, of course. We're obviously here representing the home office crowd, but this webinar, we're going to try and facilitate it for you, but we really want it to be by you, for you. So as we do this, the goal at this point is to do this every single day for a minimum of the next week through next Thursday, April 9th. And then if continuing with the traction, we definitely want to keep it going as long as it makes sense. So we'll probably keep it going maybe every other day, weeks after that, but we're going to kind of wait and see. For those who aren't able to watch this live, we really do apologize. We tried to get some technical difficulties wrangled around so we could be 100% live, but we are going to send out a link to the recording, and future versions of this starting tomorrow, hopefully Friday the 3rd, will be live. We're going to be going on YouTube Live as the channel we're going to use, and we'll get that information out to everybody as soon as possible, of course. So with that being said, I think we've heard enough of my voice, so we're going to go ahead and turn it over. We've got two awesome guests who came right out of the gate and tackled virtual presentations and virtual sales right away. On one screen, you'll see Shane Valentine. Shane Valentine comes from the Areas Agencies. And on the other screen, you'll see Sam Holden. Sam comes from the Griska Agencies in upstate New York. And between these two guys, I'm really happy and proud to be able to boast that just these two guys in the last 2 weeks have been a part of over 30 presentations virtually, and they're responsible for over 18 virtual sales between the two of them. So what we're going to do is turn this over. Let's go ahead and start with Shane, we'll let Shane open it up and talk for a little bit about his success. And the goal, guys, is to let them share a little bit about what's working for them. And then after both of them have gone, we're going to do a little Q&A based on the questions that you were able to take here live on Zoom, as well as the questions that were submitted previously when you guys registered for this. So we appreciate your patience with us. It's the first time for us too, but we're really excited to get it going. So I'm going to turn it over to Shane Valentine. And Shane, take us away. Thank you for being here.
Awesome. I'm definitely, it's an honor to be able to be here with you guys today to kind of give you some of the tips, tricks, everything that's been working for me. You know, just to kind of get started, one of the biggest things I wanted to touch on here just right off the rip was, you know, I'd be lying to you if I was going to sit here and tell you that I was 100% comfortable from day one. You know, in all honesty, it took a little bit of a learning curve for me as well. But one of the biggest things that I've learned throughout it is just embracing it and doing it has really made a world of difference. You know, you're not going to really get comfortable until you just dive in. You know, you can't be afraid you can't be just testing the water, dipping your toe in. You know, you got to dive full into it and really take advantage of this opportunity. You know, it is really amazing what we're able to do right now with the setup that we do have. For example, the other day, you know, I'm out here in rural West Virginia, you know what I mean? So out in the middle of the nowhere in the sticks. So the other day I had 2 cells, both within 1 hour, and the drive distance between the houses was 2.5 hours. Okay. And that doesn't even include the commute from my house to their house. So, you know, the amazingness of being able to have 2 cells within 1 hour, and I couldn't even have drove to one of the houses, is insane. You know, so the first biggest piece of advice is jump in and do it. Just be comfortable with it. It's going to be uncomfortable, but you got to be out of your comfort zone and be willing to take that leap. Okay. Couple big things I wanted to touch on here. You know, the first is with the phones and the scheduling. Okay. Because, you know, a lot of us, if you're anything like us with our agency, you know, you have your phone nights, you have your field days. You know, one of the biggest things that this has really helped me develop on is kind of every day's a field day now. You know, so when I'm calling with a sense of urgency of booking them, you know, 30 minutes in the future. I'm almost treating it as a door knock. You know, all day, every day right now is prime time. Okay. People are home. They're bored. They're looking for things to do. You know what I mean? So all day, every day is prime time. Don't be afraid to start hitting them at any time of the day. Okay. Biggest thing is whenever you are setting the appointments, you want to immediately send them out the link, the Zoom link, set it up, get the email sent out. About 10 minutes before the presentation time, you do want to go ahead and send a reminder text and a confirmation text confirming that they got the link, that they're still good to go, everything like that. You also want to make sure you're using your time wisely. So say you set an appointment for 30 minutes in the future, don't treat that 30 minutes as just downtime. Make sure you're ready to go. You have your PowerPoint up, your e-apps up, everything that you need to have up on your computer ready to go, but also use that time for calls to be setting that next appointment. Okay. You want to stay busy. One of the biggest things, it's real easy to get in the mental trap of, oh, I'm at home, I can chill a little bit. Oh, somebody showed me, let me watch an hour of TV. It's real easy to get in that trap, so you got to find yourself motivated, find yourself bringing that energy. Okay. That was the next thing I wanted to touch on. When you're on these presentations with the members, the biggest thing is bringing the energy and keeping them engaged. Okay. It sometimes could be a little bit hard to keep the crowd or keep the presentation engaged over the computer screen, but that's what your job is. You got to be a thermometer, not a thermostat. Okay. So you got to bring the energy and really, bring it to these people and keep them engaged with you. Whenever you're going through everything, you want to make sure that you're showing them, you're doing a nice mixture of screen sharing, but also having yourself on the screen. Okay. So, you want to be able to switch back and forth to keep it real personal. We're in the people business, but if they're just staring at your shared screen the whole entire time, it's real easy for them to kind of lose focus of who you are. So when you're doing important things like showing them the screen, showing them the app, filling out the questions, getting their banking info, you obviously want to have your screen share going then. But as much as you can, you want to be able to pull yourself into this and really be able to relate. Okay. Which takes me to my next point about rapport is you need to be very intentional with your rapport that you're doing with them. Okay. You don't want to just jump straight into, the presentation itself. You want to be able to tie yourself in to relate. So, my background right now, don't really have that much set up behind me for this call, but when you're doing a presentation, you want to set your background up intentionally. They're coming into your house now. So you want to use what you can to help them build rapport. Okay. You want to keep your presentations concise. It's real easy. Trust me, I'm a talker. I've been in houses before 2-3 hours, but whenever you're doing these presentations, you want to kind of keep them a little condensed, keep them concise, about 35 to 40 minutes. Otherwise, you're going to start losing people's engagement. Okay. So, you want to kind of streamline it, but at the same time, you want to make sure you're relating on that personal level. You want to be engaging, energetic. You want to ask them questions. Okay. Bring them into it, frequent tie downs, using their names as much as possible, making sure that they are fully engaged, but what we're able to do right now for these clients, you got to build it up to them because life insurance sales, we're up 55% in the last 2 weeks in America. So people are out there. They want to get the life insurance. They're looking for ways to do it. But in today's day and age, most people don't have an avenue or have the knowledge to really do it. So being able to do what we're doing for these clients is amazing. So that takes me to my last couple points here because I'm trying to keep it short and sweet for you guys. One of the biggest things you want to focus on is, building up power phrases. So, we all know the power phrases out of the playbook. I'm sure we've all spent a ton of time studying them, but I'm going to give you guys a couple here, real good ones that I've been using before I pass it over to Sam here that have really been successful for me. One of the big things that I've been saying to the members is, we've been deemed essential in this time of need and this time of uncertainty. Because what we do is, at the end of the day, whether you're in the house or you're doing it virtual, we provide peace of mind. We're not selling a tangible good, but we're providing a peace of mind. So especially in this time of uncertainty and this time of need, that's what people want, is they want a little bit of comfort, a little bit of a peace of mind, everything like that. So you want to make sure you're building it up to them. That the reason that we're doing this for the members, we have been deemed essential is that not only do they still have the chance to receive all of their union benefits, but they also have the opportunity to protect themselves in this time of need. Okay. My other power line I have before I pass it over here to Sam is, one of the biggest reasons is that they have us calling is to make sure all the members are fully protected in this time of uncertainty. What that means is if you do have any life insurance in place, reviewing exactly what you have and making sure you're taken care of. If you don't have any in place, the union has some packages set up to give you that peace of mind. I'm telling them that on the phone right from the rip. One of the biggest things I've noticed is people are embracing it. Okay. So don't be afraid, don't be afraid to tell them straightforward on the phones when you're setting the appointment. We will be going over life insurance. If you have some, have it ready. I'll review it with you. You know, it's a little bit different trying to pull a policy over Zoom than it is at the kitchen table, you know? So being upfront with them, people appreciate it right now. You know, telling them the reason we're doing this is to make sure you guys are taken care of and you guys have that peace of mind. So if you do have some, have it out so we can review it. If you don't have any, you know, the union does have some benefit packages set up that you will be able to enroll in. Okay. And people appreciate it. They love it. It's like Zach was saying, the close ratio, you know, last week alone, our close ratio, my close ratio was almost 90%. Okay. So don't be afraid, you know, just dive right in. The biggest thing, if you take anything away from me, is just dive right in and do it with urgency and do it with passion. So I'm going to pass it over here to Sam. I know he's got some fire for you guys as well. And then we'll open it up for some questions like Zach was saying.
Awesome. Thanks, Shane. Yeah, I think that a lot of what you said is what I've experienced as well. So jumping right in, that's kind of my first point. You know, don't deviate from the systems that we already have in place. So those systems are successful for a reason, they work for a reason, and that shouldn't change just because, you know, the medium of the appointment is going to be different. So I had broke it down into a couple sections, but you know, the main point is just adopt it, jump right in. That's what I did, and that's what I found successful. So when the things that I've seen work during phone setting is enthusiasm. So getting them excited right off the bat is even more crucial because you don't have that luxury of getting to see them in the home and getting to do that rapport face to face. So you still want to do that over the phone, get them excited for that appointment. And I always stay assumptive. So after I've confirm the information, I go through to giving them 2 times. They pick their time. My next thing out of my mouth, I've told them it's a virtual appointment, is great. So it's over Zoom. The next thing you do, you go to your computer. I'm going to send you over this link via email. Or if they're using a tablet, smartphone, have them go to the App Store, download Zoom, and then follow the link from there. So I've been preaching to my team, if it's not virtually confirmed, if you haven't physically seen them, you're either double booking that or you're going to give them a call back once they get home from work, once they get home from the grocery store, because it's solidifying those appointments are even more important now that we're doing virtually. You know, I've been saying to my team, it's even easier now to be no-showed, because before, if you set them up and it's 5 to 6 o'clock and they forget about it, but they're eating dinner, they're watching TV, they're home, you knock on the door, you give the appointment. With this, if they're not clicking that link at between 5 and 5:15, if they forget to click that link, you're on a Zoom call by yourself. You're staring at yourself. So then you have to give them a call, remind them, go to the link. So it's really, really crucial that they have virtually, they've logged in, they've checked their volume works, they've checked that their video camera works. Sometimes I've gotten on a call a couple times and they don't have a webcam, and they're like, oh, that's probably why you can't see me. I guess I don't have a camera on this computer. So then going back to their tablet or going back to their smartphone, downloading the Zoom app. You know, those phone calls are going to be a little bit longer, but they're even more solidified. So they, you've done some rapport, you've done some of that form. So now they're even more excited to see you. You know, with my team, if it's not confirmed, it's not on the schedule, or it's double booked, because the show ratio, we know when they've physically seen you, you've already spoken, you've already seen each other, is just way, way higher. And if you haven't, the chances of them being there are a lot lower. It's not worth putting on your schedule. So it just comes back to that being assumptive, being direct and kind of guiding them what to do next. Kind of leads me into my next point. I've only ever used Zoom for these appointments. I think I haven't found anything else that would work anywhere near as good as Zoom works, with the sharing the documents, them being able to see you on the screen and seeing the documents as well. So when people, I've heard other people say, oh, like, does FaceTime work? Does Skype work? I don't give them the option. If they have a computer, they can go to Zoom. They can follow the link. If they have a smartphone, if they have a tablet, they can go to the App Store and download it. It takes 30 seconds at most houses. So they download that. Then I say, you don't even have to create an account. You can just follow that link in your email and it brings them up on the screen. And then I say to them at the end of the call, I finish the call over Zoom. So then I hang up my phone and I make sure they can still hear me through their Zoom. And then I finish my call there. So I'll have them write down the confirmation number, which is the Zoom ID, which is going to be the same as my phone number. And then I kind of just walk them through. So on Friday, between 5 and 5:15 p.m., you're going to click the same link that I already emailed over to you. It'll go straight through to the same call. So they know the process. It's the same email. They're doing the same thing. It's that repetition. They have that muscle memory of exactly what to do when I phone set them right for Friday's appointment. So it's kind of just getting them into that habit. And that's the best thing I found for show ratio. My show ratio has been really strong so far because I've done those steps during phone setting to make sure they're actually going to be there for the appointment date. It's like the same thing of why drop-bys can be really, really strong appointments, because they've seen your face. It's the same idea versus a phone set. So that's where I found for the phone setting. Moving on to actually being in the house and running those appointments. Just as if you were prepping your bag before you hit the field, prep your desktop. So have all your stuff handy. The best appointments, they go the smoothest is because you have all your tabs, your certificate, their read-off letter, their family information, all of those documents that we're going to have them. And then we're going to email over to them. They're prepped, they're ready to go, and I've got them lined up just so it runs smoothly. Just as if you're in a house, you want all your stuff prepped and ready to go. So you're professional and you're not, it's not all over the place. And then control in a house is really important as well. Right from the beginning, if they pick up the call and you can see them lounging on the couch and they got a baby on one knee, the dog on the other, they're watching Netflix, like that's super important right from the get-go. I have them, okay, great. So now that I can see you both, go over to the kitchen table, set up the tablet on something so I can see both of you. From that point on, they're looking at the screen, they're looking at the document share, they're listening to you. It's usually pretty good. But if you don't do that first step and they're lounging all over the place, it's going to be a really difficult appointment. So I always do that step right at the beginning and get that control. And then from there, usually, they're watching you. But, same thing as if you're in a house, back to basics. Like if one spouse is kind of like on their phone or not paying attention, the next question I ask is going to be to them to kind of reel them back and make sure they're paying attention. Because like I think it was Shane mentioned, it's really easy that they can be doing something else. They can be watching another screen, talking, having an alternate conversation. So like making sure that they're both engaged throughout the presentation is even more crucial because it's that much easier for them to kind of be doing other things. So, using their names and just keeping them engaged. And then finally, the leadership training aspect of it. I've trained a woman who's in her 50s and struggles with the technology. I've trained someone who's in her 20s and Zoom was a breeze. So my philosophy is always meet people where they are. So, that 50-year-old who struggled with EAP at the beginning and struggles with, technology as a whole, just embracing that and working with her skill set to bring her up and help her with the Zoom part of it. And then for that 20-year-old who's, going around Zoom and understands it a lot better, you're going to help her with maybe relating to people and she doesn't have quite that life experience. So, just complementing their skill set, filling in the gaps of what they already know and trying to work to make them a complete agent, accentuating what they're good at and helping them on what maybe they're not as strong at. And just expectation setting. So right from the start in the state of New York, our job is to go into people's homes and shake their hands and meet with their family. And that's no longer possible. And that's the reality of it. So when this amazing opportunity was given to us to continue doing our jobs, do the exact same thing, provide these members with their benefits, and it's just over Zoom, like that's an amazing opportunity. And that's been my philosophy and our team's philosophy. So that trickles down. They probably already have my agent who she'd only been in the field 1 week and then she'd learned all that stuff and she was getting to master it. And now everything switched over to Zoom. So, just really being positive, making sure those little victories are acknowledged and showing her that, hey, it's really not that different. It's the same appointment. It's just going to be over Zoom instead. And then her second week in the field, she was number one in New York State, wrote 5,700 and did an awesome job. And she's, followed up with a third week in the field. So it's really just focusing on those little victories, staying positive. And the final point I'll make is it really gives us this opportunity when we're training to train more than one person if we have that opportunity. Over the Zoom here, we can have 2 or 3 trainees watching what we're doing, seeing what we're sharing, and they can see exactly the way appointment is supposed to run, and they can be right in on that call with you.
Awesome. But, yeah. Thank you, Sam. We really appreciate it. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and end the live stream. We're going to do the Q&A on Zoom only, and then we're going to go ahead and release the video of the Q&A to the field immediately after our Q&A session. So go ahead, hang on. We're going to go ahead and end the live stream right now. Okay, I believe everybody else who is in the webinar, we are still recording, we're still live. Really appreciate that, Sam and Shane. Thank you very much for that. Again, we're going to get this up as soon as possible to the field. So go ahead, Zach, if you want to go ahead and take away the live stream, we're good to go. Or not the live stream. If you want to go ahead and take away the Q&A, we're good to go.
Absolutely. So guys, as you know, these we had a couple questions come through both on Facebook and Zoom as we're going through this. And we also went through the registrations that you guys did. We had a couple thousand registrations, which is really exciting and great to see. But we went ahead and tried to pick the ones that we saw kind of repeated the most often so we could tackle that. And so I'm going to kind of let you guys figure out who wants to answer most. You might have to arm wrestle over Zoom to get it, who's going to answer the question. But the first question that was repeated an awful lot has to do with the show ratio when booking appointments for the virtual presentation. So could one of you guys go ahead and walk us through your process on maximizing your show ratio?
Sam, if you want to hit it first, then I'll do a little follow-up.
Yeah, for sure. So, I follow my phone script as pretty much normal. We go through the card. I then kind of go into how in New York State, we've been deemed an essential business and how to better serve you. We've adapted our service instead of being in home to that video appointment. And then I go right into the offering them 2 times, which would work better for you and spouse. They pick the time and then I go straight into the Zoom. So and I can go into a little bit more if it's necessary, but just with the Zoom, we send out that link via email, whatever their best email address is, have them download that or go to their computer and follow that Zoom process so I can physically see them and hear them over Zoom.
Awesome. Yep. I do the same thing. It's crazy that, the one thing I've noticed is a lot of people that are having success, they're doing the same, like similar things. I'm hammering on the fact that we have been deemed essential as well during this time of uncertainty. And it's like I was touching on when I was going over my notes. A big thing that I've switched my mindset to doing is not setting for a couple days in the future. I'm trying to set them for right now, 30 minutes in the future. Okay. So that way, if they're home, they're good, they're ready to go. 30 minutes from now, they're already on the Zoom link. Now, if that doesn't work, I am setting them like a normal appointment, but I'm giving them the reminders. A big thing I've been doing is, I email out the link immediately. And then about 30 minutes before the presentation, I'm sending them out a text reminder to their cell phone, reminding them of the appointment, making sure they got the link, that they're not having any trouble accessing it or anything.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. And to the same point, it is kind of funny. Y'all are both doing the same thing and you figured it out the same way.
Right.
So really good. Something else was like the process, and you guys kind of answered this, but I do want to address it because it's a mildly different question. What is your actual, like the technical process? What are you saying and doing on the phone to set an appointment right away and go straight into a presentation?
Yeah, Shane, I'll let you start with that and then anything else I want to ask.
Perfect. So, what I'm kind of doing is during the initial phone call and everything, I'm finding out what shift they're on, what their schedule's like, if they're still working, and if they're telling me up front, like, oh, I'm still working, I've got this, schedule that I get off this time, I know that it's not going to be quite as easy to go into an immediate presentation. But if they're like, oh, well, we're off right now, or we're laid off due to this, we're off due to Corona, I treat it just like a door knock. I still want to build up that busy, important, and in control. So I tell them, hey, I've got a few more things I've got to wrap up here real quick before I'll be able to take care of this. But seeing how important it is that we make sure that you do get your benefits taken care of, I do have an opening about 30 minutes from now. It'll give me enough time to tie everything up I need to do. I'll send you over that Zoom link so you can make sure it all works for you and everything. And then that way we can go in and get this taken care of right now. Because it's like I said, people are home, they're bored, they're looking for things to do. So half of them are probably losing their mind from boredom. So, they're excited to be able to talk to somebody and do something outside of just watching TV all day.
Yeah. And I exactly what you said, like build the urgency. I'm not gonna, if I'm on a call, be able to, I can do this right now, hop on. I want to give that urgency. If I have a few other things to do, but in 20 minutes, if you and your wife are still gonna be around, exactly like Shane said, people are home, they're bored, either they're working from home or they finished up their day. So you get a pretty good idea from the beginning of the phone call, like you normally would if they're, driving, if they're, where are you coming? Oh, you're coming home from work, finishing up. Nice. So then you can kind of do it that same day setting, like Shane said, exactly like a door knock.
Cool. Thanks, guys. The other question we saw a lot of is having to do with rapport build. Do you guys do anything differently? I mean, obviously, I think most of us are trained to get into the house, do a certain amount of rapport build, and then start. Are you guys continuing with that, or are we doing anything differently now?
Yeah, I mean, it's as crucial as it ever has been. I mean, we have this, horrible situation that everybody is in. So it's kind of like a gift as far as rapport building. Everybody is going through this unique set of circumstances that everybody is watching the same news and so we have this gift for rapport of how are you guys holding up? Have your jobs been affected? Have your kids, you're home from school, you're homeschooling the kids. What's that like? I know teachers don't get paid enough, right? They're driving you crazy. You've only got 2 of them, right? So things like that everybody's going through, it's a really unique circumstance where we're all in this shared experience. So that's what I like to do personally, but it's the same thing. If you see, a basketball poster or whatever, whatever you see in their home, their pets, still that, but, still really important to do that right from the beginning and get that rapport built.
Yep, a big thing I'm doing with my report is it's like I was saying, you want to be very intentional with your background. You know, like I said, this isn't my normal presentation background, but in my normal presentation, I would have like a picture of me and my wife, or if I, you know, with some fishing stuff or hunting stuff, you know, West Virginia, the people eat it up. They love it. Or huge thing, my dog, he's actually outside right now, so he didn't bark in the middle of this, but anytime my dog barks in the middle of the presentation, it's instant rapport for me. So, you know, you want to basically, they're in your house. So think about when you go to their house, what you use to build rapport with them of theirs, you know, still tie it in. You know, you're going to be able to relate with different things that you have and different things you do, but you got to be intentional about it.
Awesome. So guys, I'm gonna take time for 2 more questions. And again, really appreciate you guys' time on this. Next one having to do with rolled referrals or collecting referrals in general, anything we're doing differently from what we were doing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't really seen anything different. The only thing different with the rolled referrals is it's honestly a little bit easier for me, you know, and especially with the collecting referrals too, you know, because it's not like we have to tell them like, oh yeah, we're going to go out to their house, because sometimes people will get a little bit funny about, you know, somebody showing up to their house or doing this, you know, so it's honestly been a little bit easier. And I've seen my referrals actually increase by saying, you know, we can do it all virtually. We're going to go over it. They'll still receive it. As far as rolling referrals, a huge thing that I've been doing is at the end of, you know, any presentation, but mainly sales is, you know, still doing the life insurance referrals of, you know, you have the opportunity to sponsor any close friends or family members and having them actually hop on the Zoom right with us. So as I'm finishing up the sell, as it's over, you know, if I was presenting to Sam and I was getting Zach on the line as a rolled referral, I would have Sam get a hold of him, send him out that same exact Zoom link, have them hop on together so that way they see us all here together. And then as soon as they're on, you build a little bit of rapport there with Zach. Sam's hopping off, we're all finished up with him, and then we're straight into the presentation with Zach, and it builds that relationship, it builds that social buy-in, everything like that. So if anything, I've seen it's a lot easier to do for it.
Yeah, no, it gives you that opportunity. And my thing, I do the same process I always do. And it's just that added, one of the lines is, okay, who just lost a job? They're in between. Maybe they just lost their benefits. Who just started a new job? You know, once again, back to that shared experience thing. So it's, you know, everybody has kind of the things that we're going through in their minds, and it's easier to kind of relate to them and tap into that.
Cool. Last question, and then we got 2 more that I'm going to steal for myself if I can. But last question for you guys, if you could, is having to do with training. So when you, obviously it's easy to have a trainee log into the presentation and kind of view it on mute silently. But any tips or tricks on what you guys have found to, like, what's the trainee doing, or like what are you advising your folks to do that, you know, releasing them, Sam, to a $5,700 a week, for example?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the same. It's going to be the same things that I'm teaching them, but you know, it's just that added layer of making sure they're fluent with Zoom. So how to lock a meeting, how to share their screens, how to do that. And then it gives you as a leader that opportunity to be able to, even once they're released, you know, maybe you can't run in the field with them a full day if we were out in the field actually, but you can still pop in on some appointments and kind of watch what they're doing and help them out with that. You know, if they have any questions, it is an incredibly valuable tool. And, you know, being able to walk them through that as if you're in the house, but you're not physically running with them. So
Huge thing that we did as well on our side is, you know, anybody that is even our released agents, trainees, anything like that, is with all of their uplines, before we even had them out running live presentations, they were sending out a Zoom link to all their uplines and doing a full Zoom presentation with us up front. That way we could coach them through, do all of that live with them. And then, like Sam said, hopping into the calls with them. We've actually been doing a virtual office, we call it, and having our whole team calling and, you know, everything here on Zoom together throughout the day. Somebody has an appointment, they can hop off on their appointment. They want a manager to jump on with them, or if it's a trainee, the manager and the trainee jump off and go on together, and then boom, right into the virtual office. And it's been really great for keeping that culture and everything going as well.
Awesome. Other questions that we got coming in, guys, and any other questions you guys have, we're going to be filtering through this. Again, this is not the only one of these we're doing, so keep the questions coming. But 2 other ones that happened was, will this continue after the pandemic? And the answer is from that is absolutely yes. Okay, this is going to be our new normal. Not that in-home sales is going away by any stretch. It's been our bread and butter for many, many decades. But this is definitely something that we're going to maximize and continue to enhance and get better in the future. And the other one was, what if you have folks that just straight up don't want to meet over the web? I would strongly advise that you put them as a callback appointment in Impact for about a month from now. and then circle back to them once we're able to go ahead and visit them afterwards. So again, guys, we're going to get this out to everybody, and we'll
Jack,
go ahead and share that. We're going to get the links shared, as well as one other thing that happens here is the link to the Google Drive was sent out a couple weeks ago. We're going to send that out again. And if you guys haven't logged into it, and guys, I mean, everybody listening, we've been updating that constantly. And a lot of the, can we get this? Can we get that? Can you send me this, please? A lot of those items are in the Google Drive available for everybody. And we'll be releasing more and more as we go through the process. So, Steve?
hey, Zach, tomorrow, the first 100 people that obviously join the webinar will obviously be back in, okay? And then anybody who cannot make the first 100, we're going to send out a link the same way you did it to the field today, to the YouTube private link tomorrow, okay? So, but we still want them to register for tomorrow's events, because in the registration is what questions do you have, right? So if there's any question that you may have, it's going to be in the registration so that we could go ahead and ask them to the panel and make sure we prepare the panel the right way. So make sure that you are still registering, even though that we're going to be viewing it. Most of the field are going to be viewing this video on YouTube or the link that we provide them tomorrow. But so it's really important that they still register. The first 100 will have a chance to come in here and do a live Q&A. Everybody else will do it virtually, right?
Awesome.
Other than that, thank you very much, Sam, and thank you very much, Shane, and everybody else who attended. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. And
Thank you, guys.
We will get folks on here who aren't all bearded white guys. That's really so if you guys have experienced success, you want to just let your SGA know to reach out to us. We're looking for some more guest speakers you want to share from all corners of the country. So thanks again, Sam and Shane, for your time. We'll see everybody tomorrow.